Hi, and thanks for joining me. And in this video, we're going to talk about 2 secure ways that you can connect with students using Google Meet without them rejoining the meeting after the meeting is over. And I know that that's been a topic that has been surrounding a lot of conversation around the web right now, especially since a lot of schools around the country and around the globe are doing distance learning. So without further ado, let me jump right in, and we're going to go straight to Google Meet. And instead of creating an event through Google Calendar and then inviting kids to that, which would allow them to go back to that link and rejoin without me, I'm going to go straight to Google Meet and I'm going to click join or start a meeting. Now I'm going to create a nickname for my meeting that can be used as a code to enter this meeting anytime I want. I'm just going to call it Sample Office, and I'm going to take the space out of there and click continue. Now this is going to go ahead and start a meeting, and I can provide that code to my students and they can join that meeting whenever I'm ready. Okay, so for instance, if I click join now, it will take me into that meeting. And if I were to give that code to my student, which I'm going to jump over to that account now, you'll notice on the student side of things, it doesn't say create or join a meeting. It just says use a meeting code. Students cannot create meetings from our domain. Now, if a student gets into Google Meet and they can create a meeting, that means that your Google admin needs to go to the admin console and change some of those settings. But with the way ours is set up, students need a code. So I'm going to click use a meeting code, and I'll type in sample office because that's what the student was given as the code, and click continue. And then they can now join that meeting. And we're both in. So that's a quick way to do that with a lot of security and not having to worry about kids joining without me. Now, to show you how this works when the student leaves, the student is now out, and I'm going to go back to my account and I'm going to end now that the student is gone. Okay, so I'll return to the Google Meet home screen, and I'm going to go back and now on the student account do the same thing. So as the student, I'm going to try to use that same code again and start a meeting without the teacher. I'll click use a meeting code. I'm going to type in the code that was given to me and click continue. But you'll notice down at the bottom right it says you're not allowed to start a meeting. So now that I'm out as the teacher, if the student tries to re-enter, they won't be able to. So that's a quick way, just by using a meeting nickname, I can create a meeting, meet with my kids, and then once they all leave, I can end the meeting, and then they won't be able to rejoin without me. Now, that nickname, Sample Office, that I've used, I can use over and over again. I don't have to create a new link. I don't have to create a new nickname in the future. I can just tell kids, we're going to meet today at 1 o'clock, use Sample Office as the code to meet. And then I just have to be there before 1 o'clock so that they can join with me. But what's more interesting about this is that this same feature is now available through Google Classroom. This may take a couple of weeks to roll out to everybody's domain, but on educational domains, what teachers are now going to see is that when they go into their classroom, if you click on the gear, in the general section, there is now a Google Meet option. And if you ask it to create a meeting code, which I've already done, it's created this link to this meeting, and this is my permanent code. And that code is now visible to students. So what happens is, if you go to the classwork stream, you'll notice in addition to Google Calendar and the class drive folder, we now have a Meet icon. Okay, now I'm going to jump over into this class as a student and show you what this looks like. So as the student, if I go to classwork, I see that the Meet icon is there. If I, as the student, click on it, it will open, but it says the meeting code you entered doesn't work. And that's because I'm not in there as the teacher. So as a teacher, I'm going to now go back and I'll click Meet. And I'm going to go ahead and initiate the meeting. I'm not joining yet, but it's at least open now. And so now as the student can click on Meet, and they'll be able to join as soon as I join the meeting. Okay? So this works the same way as a nicknamed meeting, but now it's linked through Google Classroom as an option, which makes everything about Google Meet and Google Classroom a lot more convenient in the environment that we're now working for distance learning. So I'm going to put some information about how to set this up instructionally on my blog. So if you want to see those step-by-step instructions, join me at www.techycoach.com. And thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time.